What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to get straight into how to get started with Amazon FBA Wholesale using SmartScout. In the next 15 minutes, I will show you more about finding the right brands and distributors for your Amazon FBA business than most paid content ever will. If you're someone that's struggling to open up their first brand direct account and just cannot do that, or struggling to find wholesalers, it's most likely because you're overcomplicating it. When instead, you have to simplify and apply my uni method, which we'll be getting into today. For the last 8 years, I've been doing Amazon Wholesale. I've opened up dozens of wholesale accounts and dozens of brand direct accounts, and we have generated millions of dollars doing that. In the last 3 years, my business has been doing exclusively brand directs. In the last 9 months, we've launched our brand agency where we offer Amazon as a service for the brands that want to sell the products themselves but don't know how to run their Amazon account. So we come in and we manage their Amazon account. And I'm only telling you this because all of the brands that we are exclusively working with right now and reselling their products, and all of the brands that we are managing, we found them directly on SmartScout using this strategy called the uni method. And I'm going to be getting into exactly what that method is, and for you guys to be able to grab this strategy no matter what skill level you're at, whether you're a beginner that never sold on Amazon before, or you're someone that's been doing online arbitrage and wants to convert over to Amazon brand directs, this is going to work for you. So let's get right into this video. If you do forget about the uni method, just think of use no energy. It's just the simplest way to remember what the uni method is. And what the uni method stands for is understand, narrow, and execute. Whenever things get too complicated, it's probably because you're thinking about every moving variable, when instead you have to focus on the things that move the needle. And what we have to do first is understand why brand direct, and then we have to narrow our options on what type of brands we can actually sell on Amazon and what we should be contacting. Then we have to go ahead and start executing by using SmartScout. But first, briefly, we're going to get into why brand direct. Almost all the account health issues are stemming from selling without brand approval on Amazon, and this is why if you go after the brands directly, you have invoices directly from the brand owner, which is going to save your ass almost 100% of the time. Then we have scalability. Unlike the online arbitrage or retail arbitrage business models, in this business, if you land one brand account, you have that brand. If you land another brand, now you have two brands, and so on and so forth. Your business continues to compound. Whereas in the arbitrage business models, if you find a coupon code on, let's say, Target.com and you become profitable, next month that coupon code expires and you have to keep finding newer and newer coupon codes to be able to keep your business going. So if you make $2,000 in profit right now because you found a really good coupon code that you can buy these products and sell it on Amazon, what's going to happen next month? You have to keep chasing for a new lead over and over and over again. Your business never really compounds. Then the next thing is skills. Landing a brand direct means that it's going to force you to learn Amazon, because the profits that you're getting from these brands, you want to give some type of value back to these brands. So you're going to learn Amazon, learn how to advertise, optimize listings, and so on. So going brand direct is going to force you to learn how to do Amazon the right way. Then it's going to be discovery, because if we go after brands directly, even if we can't land those brand accounts, we can ask for a list of the distributors and open an account with those distributors instead. Now, when we do open an account with these distributors, we don't have to qualify them to see if they're authorized or not, because they come directly from the brand itself. So these are going to be authorized distributors that we can go ahead and open a wholesale account with. Then it's going to be business value. Once you learn Amazon, you become valuable to brands, right? Your business starts to have value. You're not just another reseller. You start becoming an expert on Amazon. So this is exactly why we're doing brand direct. So let's go straight into narrowing down our list. Why are we even narrowing down the list? Why does it matter which type of brands that we can go after on Amazon? And that's because there are 2 million brands on Amazon. And just because we can sell anything that we want on Amazon doesn't mean that we should. So we have to really narrow this list down to only find the brands that can potentially open up our wholesale account with us, because they're already doing so for other sellers. We don't want to go after any brands that are selling to Amazon, any brands that are being managed currently, or any brands that are doing a good job by selling it themselves. We have a very specific criteria on the brands that we go after, and I'm going to give away all of that criteria to you guys. And number one on that brand criteria is going after niche brands and niche categories. 99% of Amazon sellers wants to sell the top 1% of brands like Nike, Colgate, Dove, Neutrogena, and so on, while everyone ignores all of these other brands and niche categories that you probably never heard of. So we are going to aim to be the 1% of Amazon sellers that are going after the bottom 99% of brands, and this is going to drastically improve our chances of winning at this game. Next, we have rough Amazon presence. What does this mean? We are going after brands that don't look too well on Amazon. What does a rough Amazon presence look like? Well, you have to be able to identify which brands actually look good on Amazon and which brands don't look good on Amazon. Simply because if a brand is doing everything right and they have a very good Amazon presence, most likely they already know what they're doing and they're not looking for additional third-party sellers, because they have their entire process locked in. So if you look at Grunts, for example, they have amazing pictures, a full title, and every single one of their images serves a purpose. So they kind of know what they're doing in Amazon. Even if we scroll down, they have Amazon influencer content right here. They have a beautiful A+ content, and they have a very, very good idea on how to take care of their Amazon listing. So they don't really need us to resell their products on Amazon. This is not a brand that I'm trying to go after. A brand that I'm trying to go after kind of looks like this. Very few pictures, no keywords in the titles, there's no description, and there's no A+ content or anything about this product. This product is just on Amazon right here, and no one's really managing this product. This product is just on Amazon, and the brand either knows that it's on Amazon and they don't really care, or the brand owner doesn't even know that these products are on Amazon. So we are going after brands that have a rough Amazon presence. The next thing we're doing is going after brands that are only doing less than $500,000 in monthly sales, or brands that are under $6 million in annual revenue. We are going after small brands simply because smaller brands are easier for us to get a decision from a decision maker rather than going after these big major brands that have a lot of bureaucracy going on. And for us to get a simple answer back from someone to open up a wholesale account with us is going to take weeks, if not months. So we are going after small brands because small brands are easier to reach. They're going to be easier to create an account with, and they're going to be much, much easier to also establish a relationship with, so we can go ahead and keep a prosperous relationship going. The next thing on my criteria is I want all of the brands that I'm going after to have a minimum of 4 Amazon sellers, because I know that if other people are reselling these products on Amazon, why can't I? I can also go ahead, open up a wholesale account, and sell these products on Amazon as well. So we are going after brands that have an average of more than 4 Amazon sellers on their listings. Now, here are the things that you need to avoid when you're going after brands on SmartScout. Number one is going to be brands reselling these products themselves. You want to avoid them because these brands are already trying to take control of their brands, and maybe they already hired someone in-house to be able to clean up shop for them. So we don't want to resell any products where the brand owner is already reselling it themselves, because they have future plans of taking everything under control, and we don't want the brand owner to complain to Amazon about us being an unauthorized seller on their listings. Then we want to avoid every brand that has one third-party seller dominating their brand, simply because the brand owner probably has some type of contractual agreement with this one seller selling their product. So this brand owner probably gave another third-party seller the right to sell their products on Amazon, and that seller is doing exactly that. And then next, we want to avoid any listings that has a large Amazon presence on it. So if Amazon is reselling the product themselves, most likely this brand is in contract with Amazon itself, and they're wholesaling their products to Amazon, and Amazon is selling the products on Amazon themselves. So we want to avoid brands selling it themselves, one third-party seller dominating the brand, or Amazon having presence on their listings. Now, let's get into the nice juicy stuff. So we understand why brand direct. We narrowed down our list, so we are only going after qualified brands. Now we have to execute. Now I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. Most people are going to give you these crazy in-depth detailed videos. I'm doing the exact opposite, because I think that you should be like a horse, putting on your peripherals and only focusing on the things that move the needle, which is finding the brands. SmartScout is an excellent tool with a lot of features, but we're only going to focus on one feature for you guys to find as many brands as possible, and that is going to be the subcategories feature. Now, I want you guys to ignore everything, go to subcategories, filter, create a collection of brands, and then go ahead and contact those brands. So let's get right into SmartScout to look for these brands. And now that we're at SmartScout, we're going to go to their pricing column, and we're going to select the business plan at $187 per month, because that is the only plan that has a subcategories database. And this is going to be very, very helpful for us, and it's going to be extremely efficient for when we go ahead and start contacting brands. Now, we are an affiliate of SmartScout, so if you guys want a 10-day free trial plus 35% off on your next 3 months using SmartScout, make sure you use the link below to be able to get those coupons. So let's get right into it. Once you pay and sign up for SmartScout, you're probably going to get a page that looks like this. We're going to ignore everything. Like I said, be a horse with peripherals on and only pay attention to the thing that's going to move the needle for you. You don't need to know anything. You can be a beginner and still succeed with this model, because we are only going after brands that don't really know what they're doing on Amazon, that has a rough presence, and don't really pay too much attention to it, right? So we're going to find these niche brands and niche categories where anyone can really go ahead and start contacting. We're going to go over to the subcategories tool, and this is what this is going to look like. I'm going to briefly go over what's here and what's important and what you should be paying attention to, and then I want you to ignore everything else and only worry about the subject that matter. First, we're going to have the subcategory list right here, and everything is a drop down. We're going to keep dropping it down until we get to a bottom subcategory that we can actually open up the dashboard with by clicking on this magnifying glass. Now here you're going to see the average monthly revenue in this subcategory of the home and kitchen, and this subcategory does $14 million in monthly revenue, and the average selling price is $80. These two things are going to be the most important things because it tells me how big is a subcategory and what is the average selling price. I don't like to go after anything that's too low of a ticket. Now, whenever we were here, you're going to see all of the categories on Amazon, and then we're going to have the estimated monthly revenue share right here. And then we're going to have something called the seller revenue, Amazon revenue, and the Chinese seller revenue. Chinese seller and seller revenue are all third-party sellers, except Chinese seller revenue is going to be third-party sellers from China that are most likely selling private label products where we can't really go ahead and open a wholesale account with because they're reselling those products themselves. So anywhere that has a high Chinese seller revenue or a high Amazon revenue share, we're really going to go ahead and try to avoid those categories and find stuff where it has a high seller revenue share instead. Then in the estimated monthly revenue, this is how much a single category on Amazon generates in revenue. And these are in monthly numbers. So the home and kitchen category on Amazon generates $4.2 billion in revenue. So I want you to really sit down and think and understand how much money there is on Amazon. One category on Amazon generates more in revenue than your average Fortune 500 company. That is actually insane to me. One category, and all you need to make a living is a simple, small crumbs of this pie. Now, let's really get into the things that's going to move the needle. We're going to have to go into these subcategories and find brands that are very, very niche. Find brands that I don't think other Amazon sellers are going into. But first, let me show you guys the subcategories that I really like to tackle. First is going to be the home and kitchen. Next is the health and household. I don't like clothing or electronics simply because there's too many returns and it's harder to get into. Beauty and personal care is a good category. Tools and home improvement is a great category. Sports and outdoors is slowly starting to become one of my favorites. Grocery and gourmet is one of the easiest categories to get started with. Pet supply is pretty good. Patio, lawn and garden, office products, automotive, and industrial scientific are all really, really good categories. The arts and crafts category is also really good, but this category has a lot of very low ticket products, which I don't really like to sell products that are way too cheap. I usually like to go after products that are selling for more than $20. So now let's really dive in, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm thinking when I am trying to execute and find brands and build a collection of brands that I can sell on Amazon. And I'm going to think out loud so you guys can understand what I'm looking for whenever I dive into these subcategories. So we're going to start off with the sports and outdoors. And as you see, when I open up the category, subcategories are going to drop, and then each subcategory are going to have their estimated monthly revenue and all of the other stats that come with it. So we're going to go down, and here I'm thinking what is a weird category that I don't think other people are really going after? And straight off the bat, hunting and fishing products really stand out to me. It feels like a very niche category that I don't think people see in their day-to-day lives. So we're going to open this up, and honestly, all of these subcategories seem pretty good to me. Right? So we're going to go over to shooting. Maybe we'll look at gun parts. And then we see gun parts. Maybe I want to go after gun holsters. And I see that gun holsters is a $7 million subcategory. Majority of these are third-party sellers. Amazon is not really present in this subcategory, which is really, really good, and has a very low Chinese presence, which shows me that a lot of these brands are not coming from China and are not being sold by Chinese sellers. So we're going to click on this magnifying glass, open up the dashboard. I see the average selling price is over $50, which is also really, really good. And I see that this category generates $7 million, which is also really, really good. We're going to ignore everything that's here and click over to brands. And here we're going to open up what is called the brand dashboard inside of this subcategory. And we're going to go ahead and put an average of 4 minimum number of sellers. And I don't want to overfilter because I really want to show you guys what kind of brands I'm avoiding and what kind of brands I'm really looking at as a good opportunity. So we're going to click off this. And I want you guys to really focus. When I don't pick 4, I see that there's 374 brands in the subcategory. But when I put on my filter, now there's only 27. So it really narrows down my list, right? This is exactly what I want whenever I'm looking for brands to sell on Amazon. I'm only narrowing it down to the options that I can potentially sell myself. And remember, all you need is to land one brand to be able to make $5 or $10 or $15,000 per month in profit on Amazon. So now that we have all of these brands here, it's going to be the same exact thing here. The average number of sellers right here, the estimated monthly revenue right here. And it's the same process of opening up a subcategory. Now you can open up the brand dashboard of these products, right? So we're going to go after DeSantis. We're going to open up the brand dashboard, and let me walk you guys through what this looks like. So this tells me how much money the brand generates in this subcategory. And then when I open up the brand itself, this is how much it generates in total revenue. Straight, I am just going to go to their sellers. I want to see who's selling this product. And I see that this seller, Luminese, is dominating the estimated brand share by 85%. This is kind of telling me that this brand probably has an agreement with the seller. So I'm going to completely avoid this brand as a brand that I would potentially go after. Next, we have Blackhawk. We're going to open up the dashboard, and we're going to see that Blackhawk generates $145,000 per month in revenue. We're going to go over to sellers, and I see that Amazon's on 47%. Completely avoid this product as well. This seems like it's the same exact product. So we're going to avoid that. We're going to go into Uncle Mike's, open up the dashboard, go to the sellers of this product. I see that Amazon's on 67%. Again, no good for us. We're going to move down the list. We're going to go after Browning. We're going to open up the dashboard. Browning does $400,000 per month in sales. We're going to go to the sellers. Amazon's on 31%, but 31% doesn't really seem that much, and other sellers are gaining traction. So this can tell me that Amazon is maybe backing off the listings. Maybe Amazon is not really an exclusive seller of this brand. Something is going on. So this is really piquing my interest. This can be on my list. It is not a 100% opportunity score for me, but it is good enough that I might actually go after this brand and try to open up a wholesale account and see what happens. So now I'm going to move over to the next stage. What do I want to do? I want to click on the products right here to see their products and click on one of their random listings right here and like really see what's going on. And when I click on this one, I see that this product looks like a rough listing, the same exact way we were talking about before. They don't really have a lot of keywords in their titles. They don't really have a lot of pictures. The product is selling for $79. There's not even an FBA seller selling these products, which is just really, really good news to me. And they don't really have any descriptions, no A+ content, and it looks like no one is managing this listing. So it tells me that this is a good potential product for me to go ahead and try to open up a wholesale account with this brand to potentially sell their products on Amazon. We went through maybe 4 brands, and our 5th one, we already found a very good opportunity that we can potentially sell on Amazon. This is exactly what we want. So what I'm going to do straight out is go here, go to this add to, create a new folder, let's call it gun holsters, and save this brand in the collection of brands that I can go ahead and start contacting in the near future. So I like to create a list first and then go ahead and contact all of them right after I find them. Next, we're going to go down the list. This is going to be a very boring process, guys. Like, trust me when I tell you this is going to be very boring. It's going to be very redundant. You're going to keep doing this over and over and over again until you find maybe 20 potential brands. And then one day I want you to sit down and start contacting all of those brands that you did find. But number one thing is to find the qualified brands first. Let's continue. We're going to find Crucial Concealment, open up their dashboard. This brand is doing $12K a month, which a lot of sellers will skip on. But this is something that we want to jump on. A lot of sellers skip the small brands because they think that there's not enough profit. But I like to look at it from a perspective that I can grow these brands on Amazon or grow with them on Amazon, right? And I also like to look at it as like 20% of $12K is still $2,400 per month in profit. Landing this small brand is so much easier than landing a brand doing $100, $200, or $300,000 per month in revenue on Amazon. So if I go after a small brand that is easier to land, and then I go ahead and land 4 others like this, now I have a business that's profiting me $12,000 to $15,000 per month on Amazon. So I don't want you guys to skip the small brands only because they're small. These small profits can very, very quickly compound to very big profits. And you also have to realize that once you start equipping yourself with these Amazon skills, you can grow this 12K to 20K to 30K to 50K just by simply updating the listings and advertising on Amazon for them. Now, of course, you will only do this if you have an exclusive deal with them, which you will work your way towards. So a lot of people skip on the 12K a month brands. I like to welcome those in because I know that I can potentially land the exclusive deal with them and help them grow on Amazon and try to 3x their sales on the platform. So again, what are we going to do? We're going to go over to their sellers. We see that this is a very evenly spread amongst all sellers. So it shows me that this brand doesn't really care about Amazon. We're going to go ahead and look at what their products look like on the platform. And yeah, they have some keywords in their listings, some filled descriptions, but not really enough pictures, right? I scroll down and I don't see any A+ content either. So this brand just got put up on Amazon, not really doing so well. It sells for $60. Sellers are not really active on this listing, which is really good news for me because once I buy these products, I'm going to resell them and make sure I keep them in stock and really profit from them. And I also see that these sellers are not really that active. And yeah, this looks like a great opportunity for me to sell. So I'm going to go back to SmartScout and go ahead and add that to the list that I just created. Now we have 2 and we only went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brands. So out of the 6 brands that we just walked through, 2 of them were a very good opportunity that we might actually have a high chance of opening up a wholesale account with. Now we're going to go down to Tactical Solutions, open up the dashboard, same process. We go to sellers. I see that one seller is dominating the buy box. So maybe not go after this product. We're going to go over to Raven Concealment Systems, open up the dashboard, go down to the sellers. I see that this guy has 73% of the estimated brand share. So we're going to stay away from this. Go down to Streamlight, open up the dashboard. This is an extremely big brand, which we're going to stay after. This brand is doing close to $100 million a year on Amazon. So definitely not a brand that we're interested in. We're going to scroll down, Maxpedition, open up the dashboard. This brand is doing 300K. Go over to the sellers. Amazon's on bulk majority of those listings. We're going to go ahead and avoid this brand as well. Scroll down, go look at Vortex, open up the dashboard. They do $10 million. Avoid this product. And just keep repeating that process. Open up Glock. Now, once you really get comfortable with SmartScout, this process gets faster and faster and faster because you're looking at a few things, understanding that this qualifies, adding it to your list, and then doing further research later down the line. So we're going to go. This brand is doing $109,000 per month on Amazon. We're going to go look at their sellers. I see that there's no Amazon, no brand, and no one seller dominating the buy box. We're going to look at the products on Amazon, and we see that they're not really managing the listing either. Poor keywords in the title, really no pictures that tells me anything about this product, no description, and no A+ content. So this product is on there, has really good brand awareness, but no one is taking care of it, which is really, really good news for us. We're gonna X out Glock, go back to the brands, add that to our list of gun holsters, and now we have 3. Let's find 2 more. Techniclip, go to dashboard, $5K a month, which I still don't mind. 20% of $5K is still $1,000. 10 of these brands, you make $10,000 per month. A lot of people scoff at this and try to skip it. I love these type of small brands because, again, if I go after these brands and I call them on the phone, maybe I'm speaking directly to the owner of the brand and I can get that account open straight off the bat, which is going to be a very easy win for me. And this is what you want to do with Amazon. There's a lot of difficult things with Amazon. We want to make our job as easy as possible and compete where there's no competition. That's how you win at this game. Not by doing what everyone else is doing. You win at this game by doing what makes the most money in a field that has the least amount of competition. This is exactly what we're gonna do here. We go over to sellers. No one is really dominating. I mean, this guy has 2K, but it's probably because he bought a lot of inventory. He was the only one that was in stock for a long time. I see that he's losing 10% of this share over months. So it's definitely a product that I wanna go after. Let's see what they look like on Amazon. We click on him. I have no idea what this product is. I have no idea what it does, but it's on Amazon, has really good brand awareness, 1,600 reviews, but no one is really taking care of it. There's like A+ content, but this is basic A+ content, which is not really that impressive. And I see that they're not really doing anything with this product. So we're gonna go ahead and add this to our list of brands for us to go after. So that's already number 4. And let's go over to Blades USA, open up the dashboard, 4K, go over to sellers. No one is dominating. Really, really, really good news for us. Once again, go over to products, click on one of their listings. No one is really doing anything about this product. No listings, poor title, no pictures. This is a product that I want to go after. We're going to go ahead and add this product to our list. That is already 5 brands that we found. These are 5 highly qualified brands that will potentially open up a wholesale account with us. And we found these in less than 10 minutes. And once I'm done with gun holsters, I go and I look at soft rifle cases and I look at hard rifle cases. And then once I'm done with that, I look through hard pistol cases and really keep going down the list. You're never going to run out of brands to contact. There are thousands and thousands of brands that's out there that you can potentially contact, open a wholesale account with, and sell on Amazon. All you needed was to apply the uni method of understanding why brand direct, narrowing down the list so you know exactly what a qualified brand looks like, and then executing using SmartScout. I want you guys to keep everything simple. Make sure that you're only focusing on one thing and one thing only, which is going to be the subcategories tool. All you have to do is find the brands, contact the brands until it works. A lot of people give you overcomplicated strategies, and maybe that is what you need later on in the future once you have a bigger business, once you have a team, once you're growing and making a lot of money. But if you're just getting started and you want to either convert over to Amazon Wholesale or you want to get started with Amazon Wholesale from scratch, make sure you're keeping it as simple as possible, because the most important thing in this business is making money. You don't need a virtual assistant in the beginning. You don't need all of these complicated softwares in the beginning. You just need to create a system, dial it in, and start getting on the phone and calling these brands. And I promise you, if you call 50 qualified brands, it's very unlikely that you're not going to land one brand that is going to open up your wholesale account and be profitable. Well, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe for more videos where I will break down Amazon to make it as simple as possible for you. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.